Molly Holderness, aged 103, was being interviewed by some journalists. Tell us, Mrs. Holderness, what do you think is the best thing about being 103? One reporter asked. Molly smiled and looked straight at the reporter and simply replied, no peer pressure. Peer pressure has such subtle beginnings. We may not know the moment it begins, but thanks to Molly Holderness, we are reassured it does have an end. Robert Fulghum wrote that all he needed to know about how to live and what to do and how to be, he learned in kindergarten, and some of you may be familiar with that. Wisdom, he says, can be found in the sandbox at nursery school. These are the things he learned. Share everything. Play fair. Don't hit people. Put things back where you found them. Clean up your own mess. Don't take things that aren't yours. Say you're sorry when you hurt somebody. Wash your hands before you eat. Flush. Warm cookies and cold milk are good for you. Live a balanced life. Learn some and think some and draw and paint and sing and dance and play and work some every day. Take a nap if you can every afternoon. And when you go out into the world, watch for traffic, hold hands, and stick together. Be aware of wander. Fast forward, post sandbox, me sitting on the bench, the wisdom bench. Share everything. Make kindness your religion. Want what you have. Befriend yourself. Put things back where they came from. That is, if you can remember where it is and what it was. Embrace vulnerability. Words matter. Say you're sorry when you hurt someone. Wash your hands before you eat. Flush. Again. Follow the fun, which is what we were having today, this morning. Pass up that perfect parking spot. Let the person behind you have it. Messy is good, and in my life, I have a lot of good. Send a handwritten note. Make that phone call. Hug more. Eat more ice cream. Open mind, open heart. Learn some and think some and draw and paint and sing and dance and play and work some every day. Sleep in. Live with intention and speak your truth. Be aware of wonder. And it is still true, no matter how old you are, when you go out into the world, it is best to hold hands and to stick together. P.S. Your life is your message. And I'm wearing socks today that have a message that says, unplug. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you. I've heard that people say that thank you is the shortest prayer you can offer. Just 2 little words. But when you think about saying thank you in a meaningful way, and all of us hopefully have had that said to us at one point or another, thank you. That emotion, those words, the energy behind those words makes a difference. We feel it rather than somebody just saying thank you. But when it's a true thank you that comes from somebody's soul, from somebody's heart, what does that do? That energy connects us. It connects us from person to person to person. And when you think about that connective point, it almost creates energetic ley lines within our communities, within our towns, within our countries. We've all heard, hopefully you've heard about the ley lines that are magnetic, that surround our Earth, that come to points of intersection at various places within our world, our earthly planet. And what they found in those magnetic Earth ley lines is that there's many sacred temples, many sacred churches, many sacred spots, whether it's a standing stone or whether it is a well of inspiration, over the course of centuries have been located on those magnetic ley lines. But think about energetic ley lines. Think about those connective points that we create by just speaking to each other, by saying thank you, by giving somebody a hug, by giving somebody a word of encouragement. Those create ley lines. They create a sense of connectiveness where instead of maybe having a sacred temple or stone, that what we do is we are creating love. We are creating that sense of community. We are creating that thought, that one word or two words or whatever it is, when it comes from the heart, when it comes from the soul, when it comes from a meaning, that we can create these extensions of that energetic. And those can go around the world. And those can create these intersections of peace, of love, of caring. And we build our sacredness on energetic ley lines. And a lot of times when we think about that energy, we think sometimes it stops, right? It stops with this physicalness that we have. It stops with this planet rotation. It stops within our earthly atmosphere. But those emotional, energetic ley lines move into the spirit energy. They move into and connect us with those people who have passed before us from this physical world. And a lot of times, and we do it to ourselves, and I'm just as guilty as anybody else, we create words about the spirit energy that puts it in a separateness. We've heard the veil, right? That the veil thins, or the veil is there between the physical world and the spiritual world. We say world, physical world and spiritual world. We create differences. We create separateness. And when we're truly in an energetic ley line, there is no difference. There is no separation. There's not a place we go that we hang out in a separate space. We hang out in the same space. We just have a different energetic to us when we are in what we call the spiritual part of ourselves. So as we leave the physicalness and we move into a higher, and what I mean by higher is faster vibration, then we have the opportunity to be in that space that we call the spirit world. We don't go anywhere else. We're either in this energy or we're in that energy. We don't get lost between the energies. We don't go somewhere else to hang out till somebody decides, are we worthy enough to move into the spiritual energy? We are the spiritual energy. And those energetic ley lines connect us always. I often wonder, and you know, this is a spiritual center, I'm a spiritualist, but we create a separation so many times in our wording. And I try to catch myself when I do that. I don't always catch myself, but I try, because what we want to look at is how much we are similar and not how much we are divided. Not only within our world, being divided within, among countries, among religions, among whatever belief somebody has, but also not divided from the energetic of who we are and who we all of those people that we have known before. There's one of the reasons I got into this, and I don't talk about it often, and every once in a while in one of our classes I may, but one of the reasons I got into this was my grandmother. And it had nothing to do with my grandmother in the living. It had to do with my grandmother in her passing. And I'll tell you the story, because to me, it's fostered for me a question of, is there separateness? A question of what happens when we are done with this physical body. It started me thinking about things that before I kind of either accepted or didn't accept and didn't really think about, or was taught. I didn't really think about, just absorbed. So when I was a senior in college, I was living in an apartment, and I was about 40 minutes from my home and about 40 minutes from school. So I was kind of in the middle between. And my family, which was kind of like a little compound as I grew up, because it was our house, and then it was my cousins and aunts and uncles next door, and connected to their backyard was my paternal grandmother and grandfather. So we had kind of the run of these three properties, and everybody was over at everybody's house for any meal that was given. And so it was in October. I had just been home that weekend to see everybody. My grandmother was there. We had lunch, dinner, and I went back to my apartment. And 2 days later, I hear my phone ringing. Now, at the time, and I know it's different than today, you had to get up and walk and pick your phone up off of a wall, believe it or not. And it was connected, so you couldn't go too far, but I had to get up, go get the phone. And as I'm going to get my phone on the wall, I hear my grandmother's voice, as if you and I are speaking, coming from the corner of my little dining room. And I hear, I'm okay. So I heard, I'm okay. So as I pick up the phone, it's my mom saying my grandmother had passed away very unexpectedly just a few hours before. She was at her church meeting. She had just, I don't want to give you a complex, Susan, but she just finished the prayer. She went to sit down and she fell off with a major, what we assume was some sort of aneurysm, and was dead by the time she hit the floor. Now, how did I hear my grandmother? If I had thought that she was close to dying, I might have had that thought in my head. But when I saw her 2 days before, she was perfectly fine, as we could tell. No issues with speaking, no issues with memory, no issues with, well, her mobility a little bit, but it wasn't anything we were concerned about. So how did I hear that? And I had to really start and think about that if my grandmother was what I was taught dead, then why am I hearing her? And it put me on a 20-year journey until I got into mediumship, into spiritualism, to start to figure that all out. Now, do I have all the answers? Absolutely not. But do I know in the depths of my being that when this physical body is done, that we continue in our energetic form? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I know when we talk to our communicators, those people from the spirit world, and we get information from them, is it the same way I got information from my grandmother by hearing it? Absolutely not. It's very different. I don't hear it like that. As a matter of fact, that was only one of the very few times I've ever heard the spirit world in that way. So it's not about having a conversation like we have. It could be, but it's not where I'm sitting talking to the spirit world and getting answers like they show on TV. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? Because we wouldn't screw it up as much as we do. But it's not how it comes. The energetic ley line is what comes. That connective point, that feeling, that sense the understanding of that person in an energetic way, not in a physical way, but in an energetic way. And I've often thought over the years, and I've always thanked my grandmother over the years, that little prayer, that little connectiveness, for allowing me for a very, just a moment in time to start to question, to start to wonder, to start to say, is this all we are? This flesh and bone, and sometimes hair that doesn't work so well, and sometimes ears that don't work so well, sometimes weight that comes on and goes off. Is this all it is? And my grandmother, in just that way that she was able to reach into the energetic ley line at that moment of time to say, I'm okay. I'm okay. And you know how that made me feel as I went through the process of the wake and the funeral and seeing my grandfather, fall apart and my family change, because we always know that there's one grandparent that holds it all together. So everything started to change. But those two words, just like thank you, I'm okay, held me to task, held me to look at what is this all about? Now, do I have all the answers? No. Do I keep looking for all the answers? I think I do, but I don't always find them, because it's not always the availability of the information. Sometimes it's the way we walk through it. Sometimes it's the way we find it. Sometimes it's just waiting for that time, looking for that time, feeling that time of how do you connect? How do you connect with each other? How do you connect with family? How do you connect with friends? How do you connect with community? How do you connect? Because the spirit world is a connection. Our community is a connection. Our way that we are in our world is a connection. Connection to people, connection to pets, connection to values, connection to beliefs, connection to change. Because if we don't change, we're always in the same. And how boring is that, to be always in the same? We have some of our friends in our community that are starting really great new life changes, taking off to different parts of the country, taking off in a new directions and new areas of their own understanding of what this world is. And even if you don't have somebody in the spirit world that you're close to, that you miss, that you felt loved you, we still have people in the spirit side of life that are there for us. Our teachers, our guides, those really, great group of people who said, hey, I'm signing up to help this one. I'm going to be there for this one. Just like my grandmother was saying, I'm okay. So when we talk about thank you, two very small words, but we look at it as an energetic, as a prayer, as a connectiveness, it starts to open up so much more than just two words. It can open up that connective energy that changes who you are, changes what you do, changes your direction in life, or supports it. But isn't that exciting? Isn't that something that we can all do very easily by caring, by saying thank you and really meaning it, by saying, hey, it's okay. It's okay that you're not good right now, because there's an opportunity to find a way through that. It's okay that you are good. Because when things aren't so good, you'll remember that. And it will give you a path, those breadcrumbs to bring you back into that okay, maybe in a little bit of a different way. 2 little words. Thank you. I'm okay. Changed a lot for me. And hopefully, as you expand your understanding of who you are here, what your connectiveness is, that you matter, that your energy never leaves, that you know what, we can screw up and we can find a way. Think about how that could change where you're going, how you're feeling, what you're looking at. It doesn't take a whole book. Sometimes it takes the smallest prayer, the smallest bit of energy to open up that energy that is us. So thank you for your attention on that. And as always, I thank my grandmother for just those 2 words. Thank you, everybody.